Hello and welcome back to Mngomezulu. We're back again. It is that time of the night. I know we are a bit late today, but we just apologize for that, and I hope that we tomorrow will be back on time. Sorry for that, guys. We apologize. It's 12:30. We had some bit of delays. We are here now. What matters is that if you wake up in the morning and you slept and thinking that we're not going to be here, we are here. We're doing it for you, and we're doing it for us also, and everyone else that is looking forward to this analysis. Greetings to everyone. Emily, greetings.
Hi. Welcome back to the Mzansi Reality YouTube channel, you guys. Yeah, it's another day, another struggle to get my ish together. But guys, welcome back. We have to talk about Mangena's cross-examination with Mngomezulu yesterday. It was very interesting, especially more towards the end, where I just felt like he was mumbling a lot and he was saying things that I don't know if they are correct. But going over the testimony, yesterday there was an early adjournment as there were missing parts that's referring to the day before yesterday, regarding the transcripts of Colonel Mangena's evidence. And the proceeding started with the state telling the court that they received transcripts just after 9 a.m. And Advocate Baloyi said that it had an extra 21 pages. So surprise, the transcripts were there, fully available, and Baloyi said that he was happy to report that the transcripts were available. They received them at 9:24 a.m. from page 75 to 96. Copies for the defense were going to be handed in the upcoming 15 minutes from the time that he was talking. And the judge said that, so you learned your learned colleagues have not read them. And Baloyi said, yes, they have not read them. So the judge said that it is important that all the counsels confirm they have been correctly transcribed and that they comply with the constitutional judgment to say that the construction was done properly. Then he went on and threw another comment there that always like, well, what do you mean? He said that if this case goes somewhere else, a clever Olek will say they were not certified or by the persons who were allegedly present when the kennel gave evidence. So he said that they can't say that the record was properly done before the court. So he didn't want any issues. Should it go further? Should it go further? Doesn't want those issues coming up. So the judge wanted them to confirm if the CD was properly transcribed, and Baloyi said that the transcriber transcribed the whole proceedings, to my surprise. Because the way Stephanie was talking yesterday, it didn't sound like Stephanie was willing to pull an all-nighter. But I guess it takes me back to what Mr. Anonymous was saying yesterday with regards to the fact that that transcript was fully available from the very beginning. It could not have happened or been that someone pulled an all-nighter just to transcribe that the whole night and not sleep, unless if they work shifts where they're working. But it seems like Stephanie was right when she said that, no, we did the whole 4 hours in 20 minutes. So
yeah, she was.
So, and then again from the beginning of the day until the end of the day. So the judge suggested giving counsel 30 minutes to read the transcript. And Advocate Charles Mnisi said that he wanted an hour to read and consult with his client. So court gave the parties an hour to read the additional transcripts and also consult with that client. So after that adjournment, Baloyi said that each of his colleagues who were furnished with the newly transcribed record of the 30th of August 2023, and he said that their suggestion was that they use the new one. Okay, he wanted to discard the old transcript and replace it with the new one. But to my surprise, the judge said no. Okay, the judge said that a presumptive and expert witness should not sit in court as well. He was referring to the expert for the defense He was sitting there behind. I don't know how many of you guys noticed him. I was observing him and I felt like he's focused. He's looking. He's writing notes. And somehow I feel like Mangena as well, the way he was testifying, it was almost as if he wanted to prove a point to this other ballistic expert that was in court observing him. It felt so much like ego. I don't know. That's just my opinion, because he was over explaining all of a sudden. He sounded like Brigadier Gininda. I was like, this over explanation somehow, somewhere they catch up with you, because towards the end of the proceedings, even Mngomezulu did not even want to stop. I felt like, But yeah, he was over explaining, and it was pretty unusual from how I'm used to him testifying. Today was a little bit different. He was explaining, over explaining. It was a lot. So I felt like maybe he wanted to show off to the other ballistic. It's a battle of the two professionals who are doing the same thing. Maybe he wanted to prove to him that, you know what, I know what I'm doing. That's my opinion, of course, and it's my speculation. So the judge said that a presumptive...
So in my opinion, I think there was no proving, actually. He was trying to sound right. He did feel uncomfortable for that man to sit there. And we saw the judge trying to actually chase the man out. He wanted that man out, which, I mean, in my opinion, as an expert, it does not change anything. The guy is here to deliver his expertise. He's not going to change just because of what he sees in court. I mean, that's why Brigadier Kinindi can come and sit there. I know he's an investigating officer, but he can sit there, watch people, even who's this Muhola comes to court. So there's nothing wrong with that. Now all of a sudden the judge there, Baloyi was a bit late to actually catch up with the trade, because the judge was trying to say that I know the law does not allow this, that there's no law that prescribes it. There is also no law that prescribes that you should not sit in court if you're an expert and you're going to come and give your expertise. So the Mangena was uncomfortable. That's why the judge was trying to draw this guy out. It felt like the guy being there is serious about his job, is also doing this thing for his company, looking to get more customers after this. You're not gonna accept anything other than proper analysis that you need to give as a ballistic expert. So the issue, you'd see some of the questions that are coming up, are popping up, are questions that would come with an expert. I buy into a narrative that Senzo might have been bending over, trying to fight for a gun, then just standing, looking maybe at it, waiting for someone to shoot at an acute angle on the top of him. I don't think so. I buy the issue of that's where I think the bullet, the projectile of how the bullet, because the explanation comes in so well. Then the issue of a bullet being disturbed by perforating the body, and then all of a sudden and it changes and swings. Yes, it can happen like that, but now that is an attempt, in my opinion, to explain the situation of a person who's bending over and the bullet hits the door, but it hits the door at a different level. Because if you are bending over, it does not mean that it will not hit from the top to down. It would, if depending on the position of the gun. If your gun is positioned to such an extent that it would graze through, as it gets in and graze through until to the lower part of your back, and then hits the door, then that would explain the issue of jars. Hit the door at that angle and it spins because it didn't have much power to penetrate the door. It hits the door and then it spins and then it falls on the jar. that would sound like something that could have happened. But I'm not saying that there was anything that felt on the judge. Felt a lot of things there felt as if, in my opinion, the evidence that's given there feels like it was staged. So you cannot rule out the shooting that could have happened to rearrange the whole scene. In my opinion, I mean, you cannot trust those people. But what it feels like is, it feels like if you know that someone can drive and is watching you sitting next to you, you drive properly, you drive carefully. He's not trying to. I mean, at some point, it does give answers that are looking wishy-washy, but he's not doing it too much without the. I mean, even the judge. The judge is trying to be neutral. You would see towards the end when he asks the question. What surprises me is that the revolver does not eject the what is it called, the cartridges, and then on the scene there was no cartridges. I think you'd get me if that part was sort of throwing a jab to the states, because it does not make sense that their theory supports the pistol, but not even one cartridge is there down there. The only theory that is actually being supported, in fact, is that one of a revolver, because it does not eject the cartridges. That, you see, even the judge is trying to now impress. He has never done that in his life. Never has he ever sounded like he's not
Pointing
believing
out
at the state's evidence. And I don't want you to get confused through that. There is someone in that bench. There is an expert in that bench, and an expert of no color of that matter.
Hey, now that you mention it.
So do expect a judge who's trying to impress as usual on both sides. So in this case now, it's no color versus of color, and he's gonna try to sound a bit unbelieving to what is being said by the person of color.
So that was a performance.
It does look like a performance. Yes.
Meneer die odutsing mola. The meneer sitting there, but that was a performance. I never just say.
Yeah, it does seem like a performance, a proper one. I mean, that seems to suggest that I'm professional, and also I don't believe this theory, because it's an unbelievable theory in any case. So if you say you don't believe it, no one would blame you at any point in time. So yeah, it surprised me, even though it came at a short time when we were about to adjourn after the whole unprofessionalism.
Like the
that
last
has,
30
yeah.
seconds.
And then all of a sudden, yes. Because the questions that are coming from the defense are really questions that are showing that there has been a consultation with an expert. You can imagine how Mngomezulu is actually leaving the questioning issue at an open-ended situation where you just touch everything but not go deeper, because they pertain other accused. So in fact, accused number 1 has nothing much to answer for when it comes to the ballistic issues, but more so for accused number 3 and going upward.
Hi, Missy is going to grill him.
So the setup is such that you make them tired. You make sure that you make him answer some of the questions. And with that, there's a bit of, from Mngomezulu's side, a bit of sneakiness in terms of how he asks questions, and then when the answers are given, is able to remember and recall what was said by other people. Do you remember even the issue now of being caught when you're saying Ginindi was there, as accused number 2 said he was there, and then they all debunk the theory. All of a sudden, Mangena comes and say that it sounds like a white lie. It's Monyana, but it's a big issue, because now if if they are able to lie about such that Ginindi was there, and then what more could they lie about? I mean, when it comes to the theory of the accused, that means they were there everywhere. Everywhere the accused, they say they saw these people. That means they were there.
Because now he was confused.
Now Balo is trying to make a remedy.
Of June or the 20th of June. Did he see Brigadier Ginindi?
He said he saw Brigadier Ginindi. Yes.
Phone him. Now it became a confusion.
He said he saw. It was not even a confusion. Was created by Balo in trying to debunk the theory, because he saw that Mangena, in trying to be an expert, you would expect him to be asked on the issues of expertise, but now is being asked about the things that are sort of proving the theory of the accused. So Mngomezulu has a big brain there in terms of how he's comparing these things as he goes along. It's a hard thing, but he's doing it, and he's doing it without fail.
So Mngomezulu started his cross-examination of Colonel Mangena, and he asked, in your evidence, you said you received a call from Captain Bentley, and Mangena said yes. What time? Mangena said he couldn't recall the exact time, but it was around 10, and Mngomezulu asked him where he was, and he said that he was at his office in Silverton, that's in Pretoria, and Mngomezulu asked him where was he, and he said at the crime scene. And did they find Bentley when they arrived at the crime scene? And Mangena said that they found him at the scene, and they were still processing the scene. He said he waited outside, and then Mangena said that there was a lot of police officers at the scene. He said he went to Captain Bentley because he is the one that called him, and he was with some of his team members, and he said that he doesn't know how many team members were there, but Lieutenant Colonel Mhlahlo was there.
See, that's a problem. Mhlahlo is being brought on. And the problem with Mhlahlo, let me tell you what the problem is. Mhlahlo is the one who happens to find the bullet, right? With her expertise.
Behind the glass jars.
After everyone tried. And this happens counter. Around 2, right? Later, around 2. And this guy was only called around 10 a.m. So when he said Bentley was in a scene called around 10, I was at the office at Silverton. How members now he is trying to say everyone was there, but the problem is you couldn't have called an expert without finding all the evidence, and more so the crucial evidence that you were gonna map on your scene playing and everything else, and then all of a sudden you are there when that thing is found. And yet you are able to give evidence around, you are able to give proper analysis around the very same time. You know, that's where the problem is. So it's trying now to say it will cause issues if we said he finished around maybe 11 or 12. So now it's trying to leave a situation open to say, okay, we could have left there around 4 or 6, you know, but the fact is, when he was called, the bullet was far from being found, the first one, the second one. Yet he's speaking more about the second bullet. Yes. That on its own is a red flag, because it could point out that maybe there was a scene playing that was happening before he came, and when he saw that, he thought that's what happened. Now he's here to defend the such things, defendable things.
Well, the judge asked if Mngomezulu was asking about the 27th, and both Mngomezulu and Mangena confirmed that yes, that was the 27th of October. Mngomezulu then asked him, what did Bentley tell you? And Mangena said that they arrived there and they were still processing the scene. So when asked, you never had any discussion with Bentley? Mangena said they never had a discussion with him. He said that he just told him that he would wait for them to call him. So Mngomezulu asked him, are you certain? There's nothing you discussed. And Mangena said he was certain. He said he was with Captain Tini and Makati. Mangena confirmed that they also assisted him in the reconstruction of the crime scene. So he confirmed that he was the lead reconstructor. Isn't it interesting?
Yeah.
He was there at the scene when it happened on the 27th of October. That's when he made his way there. And then he was also involved in the reconstruction of the scene. So Mangena then said he did the reconstruction of the scene, and what they were doing is that they were assisting him. If he had to make measurements and if he needed anything, he would ask them to assist him.
In my opinion, that question is more to eliminate loose ends. Because then the question is, why would Hlanti and Ntini not have the statements about how they did their work? Even though they were helping, one would like to know what happened, what transpired when they came to Captain Bentley. Was there a conversation that happened, which in my thinking, there would normally be such conversation from the point of view of being an observer and then looking at how police operate. When it comes to this case in particular, you would expect such conversation to happen to speed up the whole process. More so considering that they were already having experts who went there uncalled for. They just went there. That is the problem. Your likes of Sbia and everyone, that cannot be undermined. The crucial role that in my opinion Sbia plays by being there, and then also you hear from some people's evidence that Sbia was also there, but without being part of this case. Even when he was absent, he would, even when he was suspended, he made sure that he's there. You know, that is when Zungu was testifying. This is where you see the problem, that there was a bit of persistency, that and interest to this case that was not warranted for when it comes to Sbia's position. I mean, it comes from the Hawks. Yes, some of these people that are dealing now with this case, some of them have worked, or some are even working with Hawks, but it was very worrisome to have such. I mean, it is not answered for and is not called to come and clarify what was this interest, what was this paining interest that would actually make him be there even when he's suspended to the police as a whole.
While Mngomezulu asked him if he's aware if they made any statements regarding their participation, Mangena said no, he is the one who made a statement. So Mngomezulu then asked him during the processing or reconstruction of the scene. He observed the damage on the kitchen door and the floor, and Mangena said that was correct. And prior to the processing, did you ask any questions in the house? Mangena said that on his arrival, he waited for them, and then Bentley called him and said that he can come and assist. But the first thing that he asked him was that they had discovered the 2 bullets, but they can only see the damage on the door, so they don't know where the first bullet hit. He said that he was standing in front of the entrance when all of this was happening, so he hadn't even started yet. And Mngomezulu asked him, so you did not see those bullets on your arrival on the 27th? And Mangena said that when he got to the entrance, they said that they discovered a bullet and fragment. They were sure it's 2 shots that they were fired, but they can only see 1 bullet damage on the door. So from where he was standing, he could see the damage on the tile. And he said that he pointed to them that there's 1 bullet and he can see in the house. Then it became 2 shots. He said that he showed them that one and the one on the door that they showed him. So he's the one who identified the fragment on the tile, the one on the floor.
So there's a very interesting theory that I'm thinking about as you go on about 90 degrees and shooting and whatnot. There's an assertion that has been put that there could have been someone else who was shot there. hence maybe the theory of Miss Popola coming in as there were fragments and all that to explain maybe that part. So it'll be interesting to know if the one bullet that is beyond repairs that shot 90 degrees, did it would how would you see it if it perforated the foot and then it went through to hit that? It would be very interesting. Would the damage still be the same, just for interest's sake, to cover those loopholes that could have been there? The issue of someone being injured other than Senzo
You know,
in the
one
house.
thing I could remember, and this is me briefly remembering Oscar Pistorius' case and how Riva passed on. And I remember the animations and the discussions that used to happen in mainstream media. There were even analysts who were talking about how because there was tiles in the bathroom, the bullets perforated intensely. There was no way Riva could have survived multiple shots that were going through the bathroom, because the bathroom had tiles on the walls. So the intensity of the bullets actually hitting as they were bouncing off of those tiles, it's created a very hostile situation for Riva, where there was no way she would have come out of that alive.
That's when we were giving analysis that were unbiased.
That were proper. That was when it was lit.
Yeah.
But now, with this case, as we can all see, it's a dry season. It's very dry. But then, now that I'm thinking about the perforation of the bullet hitting a foot, I'm sorry, but what Miss Popola is describing,
there seemed to be an attempt to explain a second set of blood that could be found on the floor, in my opinion. And that is taken away by the fact that we are hearing that there was cleaning that could have happened. Now, what is very worrisome is the comment made by the judge saying that there was cleaning of the table. Where is that coming from?
Where is that coming from? Nami ungshokile, because I'm like, what are
Does
you
it come
talking
from the
about?
people that are interested in this case? I'm not sure. Like, it
Cleaning
surprised
of the
me
table
because he's giving evidence that we have not heard of,
before.
not unless he has read on it somewhere.
Maybe.
But to also bring it in court without having the owner or the author of such coming to testify, it's
But
more
then
like jumping off a
the
gun.
fragment versus the theory of there was actually someone who got shot in the foot. And then when I look at the fact that this was a tile and the fragments, I don't know, but we can see that theory is kind of happening before us in that court. So Mngomezulu then said that his worry is that evidence that Mangena was giving is hearsay. He said that you were told, as he was testifying, he's saying that Bentley's the one who told him, right? He was told when he arrived at the scene. And he said, I was told that the evidence has been provisionally admitted on the reasons that Captain Bentley will be called to come and confirm that. But then he said, okay, let's move on. So when you observe the damage on the ground, moving on from then to the next question, he was asking if okay guys, sorry, my apologies. He was asking if I'm so disturbed.
Sorry to disturb you, but I think you can fix your stuff and then you can continue. Are we sorted now?
Yeah, now I think I'm sorted. Okay, guys, sorry about that, I'm sorry about that. I just zoned out like that. I'm sorry. So Mngomezulu then said that so when he observed the damage on the floor, apparently they were labeled. They were labeled. That's what I was looking for. So there was A2 and A1.
Yeah, there was A2 and A1.
That's how
A1 is the floor one. A2 is the one that went through the door.
The one that was at the door.
Yes.
So he asked if he's the one who measured the distance between the door and the floor, and Mangena said that he measured the distance from the floor to the door, but not the damage on the floor. So that is very interesting. The door and the floor, the distance between the door and the floor, but not the damage on the floor. So now it'd be like, where exactly were you measuring? Because now I'm thinking, where the damage occurred on the floor is more important. But then Mangena said that he measured the distance from the floor to the door, not the damage. Okay, so Mngomezulu then said, you said the distance was 1.19 meters. And he said that's correct. So the damage on the floor, was it at the kitchen or at the dining or sitting room? And Mangena said that it was at the kitchen. So Mngomezulu then asked him, so one can safely say that the shooting happened in the kitchen? Mangena said that's correct. This is very strange. This shooting now is in the kitchen. But then later on, they asked him where the blood was, and he said in the sitting room. This is becoming a very messy situation, because now I'm finding it difficult to place all of a sudden, because now kitchen, and then the next thing you say you saw the blood in the dining and sitting room.
Look, I cannot.
Where's the blood in the kitchen?
I cannot discount that happening. Maybe there were drips, small drips. Maybe after the shooting, considering the evidence that was given by the forensic man that was stopped at some point, waiting for this Mangena.
So Mangena is comfortable with walking in a crime scene, finding bullets, and you are being informed that there's a deceased.
No. There's no bullets that were found by Mangena from the initial.
Okay, they were not.
Then the judge put it like that you find bullets. Let us correct the record. The record said, Mangena said, I did not find anything. Everything that was done by what? The TRC or something like that. And then they sent TLC. Then they send everything to us. Then the theory, like as usual, what the judge does, then comes with a new theory of saying, you found these things.
Okay. Is the judge confusing me?
Well, it was after the argument. I don't remember an argument of what that created that theory.
Okay, so Mngomezulu said that you said the shot was 90 degrees angle, and Mangena said yes. If it was fired at approximately 90 degrees, can you estimate the distance from the muzzle of firearm to the damage on the floor? And Mangena said it's not possible. So you can't even say it was a close range. Mangena said it was definitely not a close range to the ground.
There is inconsistency there when it comes to how that is explained. There is no way they can estimate the distance. Yet, when it comes to the door, there is a distance. They must give a space between the door and the shooter, and the person who was being shot. You must give a space. How do you determine that?
Hi, Mangena was over-explaining today. It was like...
It's very weird because now the issue of where the gun was and how the struggling was happening, you would take the theory of someone bending over, fighting for the gun.
Yes.
Then standing, leaning. Otherwise, the other one does not even allow. I'll tell you why. Now that I think about it, Mangena said give a space between the door and the person who was shot, right? If you do that, that means this person was just standing there waiting to be shot. But if you accept the theory of the struggle, that means this person was leaning back, holding the gun, fighting trying to. He would normally use what is actually on his back, whether it's a wall or what, to lean back to get more power to push back, right?
Yes.
But all these theories don't make sense. So I take the theory that came today, that one of he was bending over, fighting or struggling for the gun.
Well, distance determination, Mangena said, is done based on the spreading of your bent and partially bent propellant powder that comes from the muzzle of the firearm. If you find it around the area of your entrance wound, you can be able to look at the pattern and measure the pattern, and that pattern can give you the distance of how far the firearm was. But that can only be done in the distance of a meter, not more than a meter. So yeah, it was a lot.
So these movies that tell us that you can estimate the shooting from the sniper, they are lying, ne?
They're lying.
Or they are telling the truth. It's just that we don't have that.
Maybe
we don't
let's
have
just say we don't have
smart
that.
tools.
Yeah, the tools here yet. Can we say yet? Yeah, we don't have the tools here yet. I mean, I saw the analysis with Trump's shooting. They were very quick and fast.
Exactly. The estimation of where the shooter was.
Like the way he turned his ear, he turned his head, and then...
That's what saved him, and the distance.
The analysis were very quick, very fast. And when I tell you there was an inquiry by the following week, so we are not the same, I guess.
Yeah. So now we can only determine a meter.
Yeah, we determine only.
So if a sniper comes and snipe on someone very big in this country, we cannot even determine where the bullet came from.
It will not be known. So that's what's currently happening. Do you remember the Boko Haram situation with people being shot at with moving vehicles? To this day, nobody knows who was doing those hits.
Oh, someone knows, they just don't want to say, maybe.
They were something else, like a movie. Like I had never seen anything like that in the country.
Yeah, let's continue.
Mngomezulu then said, but you had a full equipment, including the equipment to determine if there was any prime residue on the body of the person that was shot. And Mangena said, we don't do prime residue tests. It's done by the LSRC or crime scene management. What I want to explain is that there's a difference between propellant powder and primer. So those things are not the same thing. If you do a primer residue test, primer is when you fire a shot, the firing pin of that firearm strikes the primer. That primer ignites and it acts like a matches, where it will create a flame that will ignite the propellant powder. And after burning that thing, it becomes ashes, and that's what comes from that primer. They are the ones that we'll be looking at to check if there is any primer residue on it. And for the distance, he said that they are using the burned, unburned, and partially burned propellant powder that comes from the muzzle of the firearm. And if a shot is fired, not all the powder that is inside the cartridge will be completely burnt. Some of it will be burnt, but it will be pushed by the gas that comes from the burning one. So when it exits, it can only travel for about a meter. Then they use that for a distance determination. Ebenala, I felt like, Mangena was literally showing off, doing the most. And reminiscent of Brigadier Kininda's testimony and how he likes to testify and over-explain things just to overwhelm and confuse them, the majority, or people who are tired like myself.
Just press that like button, guys. Remember to press that like button. We are here for that. Thank you very much for pressing that like button as we continue going on stream. Please remember to subscribe. If you're not subscribed, please remember to renew your membership if you don't. If you do have a membership, if you're new, also do take membership. Thank you very much. We appreciate that.
So Mngomezulu then said, so any evidence relating to that will be done by the LCRC, and Mangena said they only collect any primer residue on the suspect, and the tests are done in the laboratory. So The primary residue are only done on the suspect. That's very interesting. So if they were not done from the people at the house, um, they were never considered as suspects from the beginning. That's what this is telling us. So Mngomezulu then said, when you departed the crime scene, you did not leave with any exhibits on the 27th of October 2014. Mangena said, no, we don't collect exhibits. So Mngomezulu asked him, why are you not allowed to take them? And Mangena said, I attend crime scene for reconstruction. The LCRC does that, then they are at the scene. Okay, and Mngomezulu asked him, so whether the crime scene was contaminated, that's not your role. And Mangena said that when you say it was contaminated, it depends on what you are referring to. So Mngomezulu gave him an example that if blood was wiped, for example, and Mangena said that that might be, but it depends on the examination that you are doing. So he said that if he does an examination, then it would observe the wounds, then it would say, I expect blood to be on the scene at a particular spot. Funny how you walked into that crime scene, there was no blood and you were not suspicious, and you're not even expressing that part to say it was an unusual crime scene for me, and he doesn't even want to speak on it. So Mngomezulu then said, for what I'm going to put you, but I am subject to correction, there's evidence that there was a lady, Mapiri, who was cleaning the house after the incident. Is that not contamination? And Mangena said that it could be contamination, but it depends on which evidence that they are looking at. So is Mangena covering up for Mapiri now? How is he speaking as if he could not tell whether the scene was cleaned or not? Does him admitting that it was cleaned totally mess up his credibility of how he evaluated this evidence?
It does take something, esteem from the evidence if you look at it. And it makes the police look bad that they continued processing the scene that was clean and there was no such report, because the next question, if he admitted to that, is why didn't you report about the cleaning of the scene then?
He's acting totally like that was normal, what he claims to have found there.
Yeah, he's trying to say that there is a way in which we can look at the contamination of the scene. There are levels where we can say, okay, it's contaminated, but if I, as a ballistic, come and whatever that I want is there, I don't need a blood to determine that if someone was really shot and this is where they would have laid down and this is where they would have been shot and whatnot, and I don't need all those things. That's what he's trying to say, which is not true. You need almost everything to have your scene properly played out and roll out properly. You cannot determine just by, well, I mean, how would you even have evidence that someone was shot if there's no blood of that person? So you're playing a scene that you don't care of what could have happened. You could be playing a scene in the wrong place.
You take the bullet. Veiws.
Mm.
Then Mngomezulu said that to him. He actually told him this. He said, my question is very simple, and I want you to be very specific and precise when you give the answer. When you say it can't be, that's not good enough, There's evidence that Mapiri was cleaning the house. Is that not removal of evidence? The state objected. Baloyi said
At
that
some
he
point they
doesn't
even said
know.
that they picked the bullet.
Ntabiseng.
Yes.
Ntabiseng said he was walking to the kitchen, going to get a glass of water, and then she saw something that looked like and then she gave it to the police. That was her testimony.
Mm.
And of course they denied that ever happening. Musia denied it. I don't know about the rest, but Musia definitely denied it. Mhlahlo also, I think she also denied it. Well, then the state objected, but he said that he doesn't know if it's correct to put it as high as that she was cleaning the house after the incident.
How can we put it without? This is where I wanted Mngomezulu to say, how can we put it without her evidence? If the state feels that there is a theory to be proved here,
then why
are you not calling the author of if there is any affidavits that was read or that was written?
Where's Mapiri?
Why are we going to defend on the position of being in a dark?
Why is she not being called to come and testify?
So therefore, the theory that Mngomezulu put, it should be allowed to put it the way it is until such time someone comes and put it as low as Baloyi would like to see it to be put.
And not the judge telling us that they were cleaning off tables.
This is where it got wrong. Like that, I don't know where the judge comes in here and how can he give such evidence.
Kotiwa Mapiri was cleaning up tables. Where is that part of evidence? Because what I remember from Ms. Shange's statement is very different. Baloyi also said that there was also water there. What I remember from Mashange, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it well, was it Cynthia Shange or something? It was read by Advocate Mshololo, one of the neighbors there at Kutwanong Street, who was saying that Mapiri was picking up the cans and bottles and mopping the floor. Is that not cleaning?
It sounds like cleaning.
Then why are they trying to change this evidence? Because that's an allegation that was put that she was cleaning. It's not even, I don't know how to describe it. But since the cans are not there and people were drinking and there is no blood, what do we call this? Is it not cleaning? And the judge talks about picking up on the table. Njani manje?
Judge is compromised, in my opinion.
Well, Mngomezulu said that he is subject to correction because he was not there.
Why is he fearing something that someone did not come and testify about? The owner.
Maybe because he was not there at the beginning, he feels like maybe Mapiri testified. No, Mngomezulu. Mapiri did not come and testify.
So you can put a theory that you like as much as you want.
And we
Mapiri
have been waiting on her to come and testify. She's not, the state is not calling her. It's not. So it is all up to you guys. It's all up to you. Then, yeah. So it seems Mngomezulu continued to say that, but the fact that she did certain things after the incident, is that not contamination? And Mangena said that it could be if she removes something maybe from the crime scene that does not affect his findings. So Mangena, what are you saying? You are saying that whenever you arrive at the scene, you don't care whether it was contaminated or not. It doesn't affect your work. What do you mean?
No, he's right. His testings, then they could be wrong. All he did, is to test. That's what he's trying to say.
Is that what he's trying to say?
The problem is when he defends the theory that there could have been contamination.
Yes.
That's where the problem starts. That's when you start being conflicted. If you say, I was giving things and I played the scene and I did everything, that's it. In my side, there's nothing that was disturbing me. So whatever that was could have happened prior to that, or even through the collection. This it's none of my business.
So let's say the theory of Ntabi saying is the truth, and she's the one handed in the bull. So that does not affect Mangena's.
It just does not help. To look. The problem I have with him is defending the position of someone else who collected the evidence.
Yeah. Yeah. So Mngomezulu then said, upon your arrival or during processing of the crime scene, did you see any blood on the floor? And Mangena said that he did find blood in the sitting room. There was no blood in the kitchen. And Mangena said there was no blood in the kitchen where they say the shooting incident may have taken place. There was no blood in the kitchen. Mngomezulu then asked, did you find empty tins of alcohol? And Mangena said he cannot say they were there or not there. He cannot check for them because they are not ballistic related evidence. He said he only looks at ballistic related evidence. Mngomezulu then said, was there a bullet lead? And Mangena said there was, because the bullets that were used there were CMJ. The CMJ is softer than a tile. That is why you found that the bullet was fragmented.
You know what is going to be interesting and what is going to be fun about this thing? As I was listening to that, I have a question. What happened if the defense aspect tested with the different version and was able to match? Which is it FM something? Is it what is it called? The
FMJ.
other FMJ. What happened if he used FMJ and was able to match the bullets with the gun?
Sure.
Because these questions, I don't know if Mangena noticed how Mngomezulu's confidence when he was asking about this CMJ issue. It is to sort of open this case wide. How is he going to answer that if we were to tell you now that our expert tested with FMJ, which is harder, but he was able to pick up with all of them that the gun is this one, able to link the gun and with the other bullets, what would happen? How would we navigate that situation?
So the even the softer one, CMJ, bringing in the fragments, is to try and give us that picture that Ms. Mapopola's leg was hit by those fragments.
And not only that, it's to the main issue with that is they are trying to explain why initially this gun could not have been picked up. That's where the gist of this issue of bullets and whatnot is coming from. And you can imagine if you are facing this case, this is you probably be in jail, properly in jail. Because it sounds
there'd be no
convincing.
Cameras, there'd be no public interest in your case. It was chai.
It sounds convincing.
Well, Mangena said that in this instance, because the bullet is softer than the tile, it fragmented and dispersed to two different directions. So Mngomezulu then said, you said the people who were close there would be injured. And Mangena said, I said the fragments would injure anyone that was close to that area. There was evidence that a lady, Kelly Khumalo, was injured as a result of the fragmentation, Mngomezulu said. And Mangena said that's correct. If she was in that vicinity, she would be hit by the fragments.
Since you went on embarking on a new exercise that is beyond ballistic, of checking people's height and whatnot, and the marks on their legs and whatnot, were you told about the testimony that Zandi said that he was also injured through those fragments? And if that is the case, did you then partake on the same process to check Zandi's injuries, if they are consistent with the injuries that you were checking and the fragment?
Because she also doesn't have a medical report for that. She said it was just a little bit of a scar. It wasn't a big deal. Yeah, you know what? The police really, they dropped the standard when it came to Senzo Meyiwa's incident. Because I don't understand.
We can yap as much as we want about this and that. We know what our police are capable of. We know everything about them. But for now, what would help us is just pick holes and and continue.
And continue. Ne? Mngomezulu was now on Mangena's visit to the mortuary the next day. He said he went there to do the post-mortem, and Mngomezulu said that the measuring from the front, he said that it was 1.34 meters. Mangena said that he measured the entrance wound on the chest to downwards on the floor, and it was 134 centimeters, which is 1.34 meters. And the exit wound at the back was a bit lower than that of the front. So it was like this, and it was 1.26, actually 1.20, according to Mngomezulu, to the ground. So Mngomezulu asked him what type of tape measure was he using to measure or make those measurements, and Mangena said that it was ordinary tape. And they asked him if he had it. He said he didn't have it. Mngomezulu said that he wanted them to check or to take those measurements and see precisely what they have taken would be a true reflection of Mangena's evidence, but they will organize the tape measure. And Mangena said that at the scene, he was using a normal tape, but in his car, he currently has a laser tape. So Mngomezulu asked him to organize it during the lunch break. So they moved on to the 13th and 15th of November when he received the exhibits. This was the first test of the firearm. And Mangena said that he received a 19mm parabellum, a pistol, 2 magazines, a back holster, and firearm license, 6.9mm caliber cartridges not marked. And now I'm hearing firearm license, so I became attentive and I'm like, firearm license of who? Mngomezulu asked about the owner of this firearm license. Mangena said he didn't look at the owner of the firearm. So Mngomezulu then asked him the reason for bringing the firearm license. Was it to prove that the firearm was legitimate or legal, or was it to prove the ownership, or was it to prove that it was used during the commission of the offense? Mangena said that it was to check if this was the firearm that was used. So Mngomezulu then said to him that my concern is the ownership. I want the person who was the owner of the firearm, because there was a license. Mangena said that he didn't look at the license. He didn't look at the owner of the firearm. His concern was to compare the firearm with the bullet, not to know who the owner is. He said normally we work on firearms without even knowing their owners or who their owners are. So Mngomezulu then asked him if he took photos of the exhibits, including the license. For the Cleveland case, the was it Rolfs? Didn't he take pictures every time he received exhibits?
They did.
And Mangena doesn't.
No, it's a master, this one.
Mngomezulu then asked to approach Advocate Baloyi and came back to say that after verifying with Baloyi about the license of the firearm, he said that his learned colleague had just confirmed that the firearm belongs to Chico Twala.
You see, the problem is this case was butchered to an extent of stupidity. I don't know. I've never seen such stupidity in my whole life. Or is it stupidity, or is it the facts versus the lies? I feel like that's how I should put it. Now, what the problem is that the lies seems to be more outweighing the facts seems to be outweighing the lies now towards this end, because what is happening is you couldn't have, in my opinion, which explains why there were 2 dockets now. You cannot hide such information that was done, which suggests otherwise, which suggests the theory that the shooter could have been in the house. The fact that you are checking the gun of someone who had a kid that was present during that shooting, it tells you the theory at hand initially was there was no intruder. Then, for some weird reason, 2018 happened. And then when that 2018 happened, everything changed. We had an intruder now. But the problem is that some information was already well documented on the case, because at the time, the people who were working there, they had no interest other than just finding justice. That's what you are seeing. It's like big fishes eating each other there. They are not here, the people probably who started this case, your Bentleys, the rest of the people. But it seems as if whatever that mark that they left in this case, because this is the main case that they're working on. This is a 636 that they were working on. 375 came later when they realized the 636 is contaminated now. It's messed up. There are people who are putting their hands anyhow, in my opinion. So then the affidavits are growing legs and whatnot. So that's when they started to say, but what we are seeing here, what the greatest fight that D4 fought is to allow some of, even if it's drips, small drips, but it seems as if they are coming to bite the current theory hard. They cannot. It's an irritating rash.
Well, Mngomezulu said that this bothers him because Chico was not in the crime scene when this offense was committed. He said that his concern is, why did they take Chico Twala's firearm for testing if he was not in the crime scene? That is what bothers him, because he said the purpose to do examination was to determine whether the exhibits that were found in the crime scene match the ammunition of the particular firearm. A firearm that was brought to him, Mangena, belonged legally to Chico Twala.
And why was it there?
And why was it there?
So now it seems as if, one, if you catch this case along the way, you would believe that they were trying to do an elimination issue situation. Gandhi, it was proper investigation. Now it's being said like this, and you listen to it, it's like, oh, they just wanted to, but there was no theory. Remember, there was no theory. They came with the theory to us. We had to take their theory. And the same theory that they came with is now contradicting itself, and it has been. There were intruders that intruder went wrong. There were Nkabi's hitmen. That there are a lot of theories. Even themselves, they cannot believe what they are saying. How are we supposed to believe what they are saying? I mean, only a buffoon would go and watch this case from the beginning and still believe otherwise. I'm sorry to say.
Well, I also remember where we were talking about this in piece of information. Chico is actually the one who volunteered it. I think it was to Zimocha. We discussed it here on the chat. It was a couple of months ago where he said that one of his firearms were taken by the police, and we were shocked. That's why now maybe you are like, my reaction is not that. It's because it's not quite new information.
And very crucial, upon that whole process of taking Chico's gun, Guinea was not part of the investigation.
No.
Your Bentleys and the rest of the people were running this case.
Yes.
Very, 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 very interesting.
So yeah, they said that they would reserve, Mngomezulu said he would reserve this question to Gininda. It's best he ask him. He said, I don't know who the owner of the firearm is, Mangena, and it's only the firearm that I have received to compare with this bullet. That's what he said, Mangena, as a response. But Mngomezulu then said, but what can associate Chico Twala with the testing of the firearm is the presence of Longwe at the crime scene when Longwe was shot. That's how they are linked. And Chico and Longwe. Chico is the father to Longwe, and there's a theory that later on, I'm going to prove it later on, that Longwe is the one who fired a shot to Senzo. So I just want to know And Mangena said he cannot comment on that one because this is not the only firearm that was sent for comparing, and they were all negative with the bullet. What do you mean it's not the only firearm?
You see, I see someone saying, how is he going to explain the inclusion of Chico's gun? Simple. I was not part of that. But now you see the importance of Bentley, Captain Bentley. It now creeps in. Why? By all means, if he's still alive, God forbid, why he should come to testify?
Yeah, well, Mngomezulu said that in answering your question or addressing you on that aspect, that is not the only firearm. Here you are giving evidence that is not the only firearm. You are giving evidence that is not the only firearm. You are giving for this particular firearm.
It's more of a witch hunting. One can argue to the fullest with the facts that this case is nothing other than the witch hunting.
Yeah, it's
starting from how the guns were found, looking at the inconsistency of the so-called testimonies.
It's giving very much witch hunt.
It's more of a witch hunt. How they were checking their legs for potential, but they were not pathologists. But they were checking.
Why was Mangena checking for scars and stuff? Like
how
what
the
is,
doctor from teeth moved to be a general doctor who can check even everything. It's more of a witch hunt.
Well, he said he's mainly concerned about Mangena's evidence. And Mangena said the question was specifically this firearm, which owner? And I said, I don't know the owner, but why is this firearm sent to you? I said, this is not the only firearm. There are other firearms sent to be compared if their owners are not at the scene. They're not talking about other cases. And more or less, when you initially said this, I did not think you were talking about other cases. I think you were talking about this particular one, that there are many firearms that were sent to you. That's my opinion. Well, Mngomezulu then said on the 3rd of November 2014, Brigadier Kininda was not an investigating officer in this case. Do you know that? And Mangena said that yes, he knows. And Mngomezulu said, and what I have noted, the correct procedure was followed. You received the exhibits from the case administration. You did the testing and the examination of the firearm. As a result, the results were negative. He said that he's happy about the evidence and the fact that he has to emphasize Brigadier Kininda was not an investigating officer at that time. The judge then asked, are you looking into the fact of the unlicensed firearm, which he also examined, belonging to Chico Twala, and then extrapolates the fact to say you will tell him that it is Longwe who fired the shot. How do you link the two? And Mngomezulu said, no. I'm saying that Chico Twala is the owner of the firearm and he's the father of Longwe. Longwe was at the crime scene when Senzo was shot, but Chico was not there. My concern is that why is the investigating officers at that time had to take the firearm that belonged to Chico for examination? He said that was his main concern. And the judge said irrespective of the relationship of Chico and Longwe, and Mngomezulu said that that will be the assumption to say because Longwe was present, that was the reason why they had to go to Chico Twala to take his firearm for examination. But there must be a theory grounded from there. And the judge said you are not actually putting the assertion. You are indicating that the theory which you allude to says that it is Longwe who shot Senzo.
So the excitement of the judge when he is hearing that the gun that was tested is a pistol, it shocks me as to say now, how are you going to prove that? Because he in his mind, he wants now to associate this to saying that Chico had a revolver, you know, in my opinion. So if then he submitted a pistol, then how can you claim that is his logic of thinking that there was a shooting through a revolver in that house? That's where he was going. He was trying to say, since there was a testing of Chico's car, ignoring the important situation that why was it even there? Even if it's a crash, but why was it there? Why was it tested? What prompted the thinking behind that? And only Bentley can come and explain that, and the rest of the people that were investigating this case at the time.
Yes. Well, Mngomezulu said to Mangena, I put it to you that the firearm Longo used to shoot Senzo was a 38 special revolver, not a 9mm. Mangena said there's no evidence of a 38 special revolver, but a 9mm bullet was recovered. And Mngomezulu said, I know why I'm asking these questions, but these questions are not related to you, to be honest. There were senior police officers who attended the crime scene after Senzo was shot, but this is not related to Mangena. The judge asked about Chico's firearm as well, what kind of a firearm it was, and Mangena said it's a 9mm, not a 38 special. So Mngomezulu continued to ask about November 2018 when Gininda, Mkhulu and Mabena were appointed to this case. And Mabena said there were many investigators during that time. He said he doesn't know them all, and he does not even know when Gininda was appointed. So Mngomezulu said that in this case, this was the only firearm that was brought to Mangena. And Mangena said no, there were a number of firearms that he tested.
Right, just pause there. We have 620 people. Please press the like button because we only have 269 likes.
Yes.
Unless, of course, we should just end here and then it's good. But guys, please press that like button. This is a
red flag. Exactly how many firearms was he testing?
That's why I'm saying it points to the witch hunting, in my own opinion. If I was a judge,
not good.
From how they were finding the bullets without any search warrant, and all of a sudden finding consistently on both accused that eventually testify, and then the other case sticks, the other one does not stick. It speaks to witch hunting, in my own opinion.
Mngomezulu then said, remember you said in June 2020, Brigadier Gininda called you about a person of interest. Was that the first time Gininda contacted you? And Mangena said, no, there was a meeting before that there were a number of investigators who investigated this case. Gininda was there, and that is the first time that he met him. And Mngomezulu then went to the 1st of June 2020. He said that Mangena went to Valeria police station where they took the height of his client, to Mr. Sibia. And Mangena said, yes, Brigadier Gininda wanted to know the height of the person, if it was possible to determine who fired the shot based on the height. Mangena said that he told him that that was not possible, because the person's arm can change direction. They can either shoot from the shoulder level or from any other position. So it's not going to be possible to determine if a person with a specific height is most likely could have shot Senzo. So in other words, Mngomezulu said, your answer was negative according to the request. Mangena said yes. He said that it's not going to be possible, but let's try and see what we can get from the height of this person. This is also giving witch hunt. I'm sorry. This is giving witch hunt as well. So Mngomezulu then said, what Brigadier Gininda asked you, was it part of your job description? He said that's correct. It was part of his job description.
To go fetch a gun?
To go on this witch hunt, to look for heights and estimate by the height this person of this height. Hi guys. No, Mngomezulu then said, so you agreed on the 1st of June 2020, you went to Valeria police station where you met Sibia. And Mangena said, correct. So you took the height of Sibiya, it was 1.7 meters. Mangena said he can't recall the height, but yes, he took the height of Sibiya. He measured the shoulder, he measured the elbow. Mngomezulu then said, what was your conclusion? Mangena said that it wouldn't be possible with him. The way, if a short person holds the firearm, you look at the trajectories from the shoulder level, there would have been a gap in between. If it's from the hip level, so it could have been any level. You can raise it at any level until higher than your shoulder level. So it's not going to be possible to say. But that exercise was of no assistance. There was nothing that could assist Brigadier Gininda to make a conclusion that it could be Sibiya who fired the shot. That was his very long explanation. And he said that he could not make any conclusion from that. So Mngomezulu then said on the 17th of June now, 2020, you got another call from Gininda to assist you, another person of interest from Pretoria North. You did the same exercise. And Mangena said that's correct. So you were with Gininda. Mangena said I was with Gininda in the first exercise, and I think I was with Mohani in the second one. Then Mngomezulu asked him, that's fabrication because it was not in your affidavit. Unless if you tell me you were with Mohani. Mangani said that he was not fabricating. Mngomezulu said, I tell you why it's fabrication. I listened to the record, you never mentioned it. You said you received a call from Brigadier Gininda on the 17th, and you did the same exercise as the one done with Sibiya. Mangena insisted that he met Brigadier Gininda there, and when he did the measurements, he thinks Sergeant Mohani was there, and he said he did not mention Sergeant Mohani. The same thing in Pretoria North, he met Gininda, and he conducted
that was shooting yourself on the foot. Thank you, Sizwe. Thank you very much for your super chat. Thank you.
Thank you, Sizwe. Thank you. So he said he met Gininda at Pretoria North. Now, this day in question is the day where Bongani Ntanzi was saying that Brigadier Gininda was there. And then Mohani and Mohola came to say, no, he was not. They completely removed him from that day, the boardroom. I think it was the boardroom thingy. So now Mangena is saying he met with him, on that day. And they conducted the test. And Sergeant Mohani was also there, but he said he never mentioned him again. He said, when I conduct the test, I don't mention the person that was with me there. Mngomezulu then said, so you met Brigadier Gininda where? Mangena said that he came to Pretoria North. So Mngomezulu said, that's the reason why I'm going there. Mohani was not mentioned in your affidavit as being present when you were taking the measurements from Tanzi, but you mentioned now that Gininda was present at Pretoria North. Baloyi stood to object after realizing the damage.
Giving evidence on behalf of this person. Like Baloyi is allowed to do such nonsense.
Well, he said he doesn't think that it's fair to say that the witness is fabricating.
What happens if a witness is contradicting himself? Is Baloyi going to correct it?
Yeah,
because that's what he's doing.
It.
I mean, if you are contradicting yourself, you are asked many times. It's not like you are even asked in passing. And that's the aim, is for you to actually contradict yourself.
Yes. So he always tries to take that away, Baloyi, by testifying on behalf of the witness to say, but the record, he's saying, he actually read the record, you guys. He said that Mangena said Brigadier Gininda called him. They did not meet. So he is saying today that Mohani was present.
He's removing now. He's trying to, after Baloyi's break time, he's trying to remove Gininda now. T. Brownskin, thank you very much. Thank you. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Generous gift. Thank you.
So Mngomezulu then said that is not mentioned in the record either in the affidavit. When you were taking the measurement of Ntanzi, where was Brigadier Gininda? Mangena said, I can't recall whether he was with us or what. Mngomezulu then asked him, where did you meet Colonel Gininda? At Pretoria Police Station. Mangena said, we met in one of the offices. This is very specific.
Yes.
This is very specific.
Later on, Baloyi makes you feel like you have amnesia or something.
But you are certain, this is what Mngomezulu asked him again, but you are certain he was at Pretoria North Police Station. And Mangena said, because I received a call that I must come and meet him. And I went and met him there.
My lord, I don't know. My little colleague, the witness is saying it received a call, and just leave it at that. There is nothing else that we can look at. I think we must put the facts as they are. They become the facts, Baloi. But look, this case, Baloi, is a mess that you accepted. You accepted the mess, bruh. Like, honestly speaking, how are we supposed to look at you? You go to that court, you stand there, you are a mess. Honestly, uyenyanyisa out yami. Uyenyanyisa le out in faith. Uyenyanyisa. Yo, uyenyanyisa le out in faith. Because it's not like fighting for. It's like what I hate about this courts. It's like it's all about what you can prove.
It is.
And if I can prove whatever that I prove, then it's the truth.
Hey.
And that's nonsense. Like we're
And
robots. That's a robot way of thinking. You're a robot. You have no feelings. You don't put anything into
and
like,
I can fabricate, which is why it's such a trigger word for Baloi.
Once they say fabricates, there it jumps.
He doesn't want to hear that word. So Mngomezulu then said, were you certain? Mangena said he wanted to explain. Mngomezulu then told him, it's your right to explain, but my question requires a yes or a no. Are you certain that Gininda was present at Pretoria North on the 17th of June 2020? Mangena said he will not answer with a yes or a no because he needed to explain. He reiterated that he received a call and went and met him there. Again, this is the third, fourth, fifth time that he's been asked this. And he said he was there. Mngomezulu then said that the reason why he's emphasizing this question is because Mogola and Mogani, they denied that Gininda was there in Pretoria North. And even Tansi, during the trial within a trial, he said Brigadier Gininda was present at Pretoria North on the 17th of June 2020. And this is confirmed by you, that Brigadier Gininda was present. He was there at Pretoria North Police Station on the 17th of June 2020. And Baloi stood to put it on record that the 1st of June 2020, they were at Valeria. That's where he met Gininda. Mngomezulu asked if this was a re-examination because he's done with that aspect. And Baloi said that he was objecting.
He doesn't even know what he's doing, man. At some point, like, honestly speaking, this case has... If at some point there was someone who feared facing Baloi, at this point in time, I would not fear.
No.
I would not fear anything.
So on the 17th of June 2020, only received a call from Gininda and that Mogani was present, and he said Mngomezulu made an incorrect proposition to the witness. He did not make a proposition. He actually asked the witness. He asked.
The witness is the one who led to that proposition.
Well, the judge said that they can argue it. I mean, he wanted to
He
come
already
back.
He has done the damage, judge, because this judge also, he has done the damage because you've allowed him to say a non-factor and make it a point, and then all of a sudden you say,
you can always argue
it's
it.
too late.
Well, after that long adjournment, Mangena said that he has the tape to measure. Mngomezulu asked the judge if they could use the interpreter to demonstrate, and the judge said no, he may not use a court official. Mngomezulu then asked to Mangena, did you take the measurements on the deceased's body? And Mangena said that the deceased was 1.77 meters, his height. And Mngomezulu said that he consulted with their ballistic expert, and he said according to him, that he does not dispute the trajectory. The measurements are consistent with his findings, so he was under the impression that he could ask for it or for the sake of completeness, but he can withdraw that question now as well. So the judge asked him what he wanted to demonstrate. Mngomezulu said that he wanted to check if that 1.34 was the exact same measurement from the floor to the entrance wound, and the judge said that he should person of the same height. He should find a person of the same height as the deceased, which is going to be very difficult. He said, I don't know how you're going to get him. And then you can say he must demonstrate how they located the wound on his chest and the exit wound at the back. It's fine. Mngomezulu said that he would try and find somebody of the same height, but it was difficult because he was going around asking everyone he could ask.
When he whispered that could I use the accused? I was like, hey, bruh. No, don't.
Don't do it. Please.
Don't because God forbid, then there's the one that is matching the eye.
Mission. Don't do it. Do not.
Never use those accused.
So the judge asked again.
And they have almost all the height, ne? Shorter, taller, mid.
But no, don't use them.
Don't use them.
It's gonna create ideas in certain people's heads. No, leave them far away from that witness stand as possible. So the judge asked again, what is that exercise in aid of? Because the evidence is clear. The deceased was shot from the front and alleged shooter was a little bit taller than Senzo. This is the judge now confirming
everything that was said. That's what the judge does.
You know? And the trajectory of the bullet went downwards. Mangena confirmed this. And Mngomezulu said that the deceased was not standing upright. He was bending slightly forward. Mangena said it's difficult to say. The entrance wood is slightly higher. It's more likely he was standing up straight. So Mngomezulu then said you cannot rule out the possibility that there was a scrum. And Mangena said it was a loose contact shot. You cannot rule out that there was a struggle between the deceased and the shooter. So Mngomezulu said if there was a struggle, especially regarding the damage on the floor as approximately 90 degrees, the probability is that the firearm was facing down. And Mangena said in that instance where the shot was at that 90 degrees, the firearm would be facing downwards. So Mngomezulu then asked, you did the same exercise of measuring with accused number 3. Was Brigadier Gininda present? And Mangena said yes. Then he changed his testimony prior from the lunch break with regards to accused number 2 at the visit at the Pretoria North Police Station on the 17th of June. He said Brigadier Gininda was never there. He only called Brigadier Gininda.
That's exactly what Bado said.
But at Valeria, he was there.
And he goes on to say, every time I was dealing with this case, Gininda was there. That's how stupid this thing sounds. Every time.
Well, Mngomezulu said he will take what he said first, which is as he should, because he asked him more than once, more than twice, more than 3 times. Okay, what he said first is what will fly here. He even said some Zulu idiom, and I was like, okay, I can understand this, but we move. He said that he's fabricating it now, and Baloyi insisted that it's on the record. Mngomezulu said that he would submit it for argument. Mngomezulu asked him, was it possible that the shooter could have been injured by the fragments? And Mangena said yes. Mngomezulu asked if he discussed the facts of the case with Brigadier Gininda from the media or any other person. Mangena said that it was from his reconstruction. So Mngomezulu said your evidence is that the accused, or accused number 3, said he was injured while playing football. And Mangena said, yes, all I asked him to do was to take off his socks and shoes. And that's when he mentioned that he was injured while playing football. So Mngomezulu said, and you could not find any injuries. Mangena said he could not rule out the possibilities of injuries. He said if you look at the time when it happened and when the tests were done, the injuries could have healed. And Mngomezulu then asked him, and after you concluded accused number 3 had no scars, and Mangena said there was a possibility the scars could have been healed if we look at the time between the crime and when the tests were done.
So already this person was a suspect to you.
No, this was a witch hunt. Okay, I've been
Without
trying to be
everything.
No, this was a witch hunt. This one.
Already Kinindi is telling you he's the main suspect.
And then
without doing the test and everything. Then we go on to find a gun.
Sure, mommy, they could have healed. They could have healed. So he's damned if he does, he's damned if he doesn't. That's what this is giving. And then Mngomezulu then said on accused number 4 also you found no scars. And Mangena said nothing. And they said accused number 5 refused to participate. Mangena said that's correct. And Mngomezulu said this is the version that he was going to put, and statements made under oath. There is a statement made by Longwe Twala. According to his statement, he says that the intruder was in possession of a 38 special, and the test they did was 9 millimeters, and there's a difference between the two. Mangena said that that is correct. The 38 special does not have a cartridge case, and Mangena said that it does. Wabona Mangena here started to lose me. Okay? So now he was speaking about how the revolver has cartridges and they are within there, and then when you shoot it doesn't drop, and it's almost like I don't know, man. I feel like Mangena, no, stop. These people already know as they're asking you this. They already know intel. They already have the file. Why are you trying to make it seem like a revolver could have dropped a cartridge when that's... Why?
No, it does have cartridges.
He's
That's
speaking as if it could have dropped, the cartridge could have been dropped. I'm like, but no. Yes, we don't dispute that it does, but it stays in the gun. Like it's with the machine. It's there. It doesn't drop, right? So why now are you trying to create something out of nothing? And it just became so weird for me to follow his evidence because I felt like aibo. And then Mngomezulu then said, what drops down when you fire? And Mangena said the difference is the revolver. When you pull the trigger, it rotates. With the pistol, it ejects cartridge cases. And then Mngomezulu said the people who made statements said that Kelly... they said that the intruders had the 38 special. Kelly Khumalo made a statement that the intruder was in possession of an old 38 special revolver. And he also made mention of Tumelo Madlala as well, saying that the gun had a wheel.
And then he came to...
And then he came, of course, to...
After that standing ovation that happened.
I hope it was worth it now, looking at these developments. Can only hope that it was worth it.
The only reason I want these people who did this to be caught is because I know that if there were people who are hiding the truth, then they will also go to jail. That's the only reason I don't want these poor guys to be arrested.
And also Brigadier Gininda on his... warrant of arrest, he also made mention of a revolver. Do you remember that, you guys? He actually did.
He wrote it down.
Yes, he did. So Mngomezulu then said, I will definitely call her because the judge was now asking about Kelly. You said you were going to call her. When are you calling her?
When is he reminding Malo? He said he was going to call Bob Bentley and everyone else. When is he doing that? Where is consistent? He's the one who was saying, I thought there were many people lined up. That seems as if... When is he reminding Baloy that And a trial within a trial, you stop people from calling certain people just because you said you were going to call them. You haven't called those people.
So in total, it's about 4 people that mentioned the revolver.
Yes. And they're all of those people, they don't have eyes. They are crazy. Now he's saying there could have been a pistol somewhere, somehow. Yes, there might be people, but there could have been a pistol. Hey, guys. I need to rest.
Okay, guys, I think we should wrap it up here. You know, also another thing that I don't know, Mr. Anonymous, whether you found it strange when he said if they saw a revolver, the people from the house or the people that
that's what I'm trying
to
to say.
He's saying if they saw a revolver, it does not mean that it was the only firearm
So
that they had.
It can have a revolver. Next thing, I fuck a pistol. I side it might to bring a pistol. Oh, what a.
The possibility of another firearm being used cannot be ruled out. Haibo Mangena, haibo.
Let's smash the like button. Please, let's just smash it like it's TikTok. Just smash the like button. I'm sorry for the calls today, guys. I am dead after this.
Yeah, we are tired.
I still need to drive. But thank you very much, guys.
But then Mngomezulu also accused him of speculating, and then Mangena said he was not speculating. So the evidence in the court is that the person who entered the house had a 38 special, and the second one had a sharp object. That was Mngomezulu reminding Mangena of the evidence in the court while he's speculating.
Yeah, Ned, we're doing that. We are wrapping it up because people are not liking. Also, it's not motivating.
Oh, it's not motivating.
Thank you for considering us. Wow, but we have 663 here, and we have only 343 likes.
So those 300 that just don't want to.
And then that include Laura, who said is watching both cell phone and the TV. So that's -2.
Okay, Lola. Thank you.
Thank you very much for doing that for us.
Thank you so much. We highly appreciate it when you guys do that and you show up like that for us.
You guys. Thank you, Sizwe. We appreciate you. Sibando, we appreciate you. Sia Sonke, we appreciate you. Just to remind you, if you haven't liked, please like. Linus, I hope your name is correct. The fact that there were 2 confirmed fire gunshots and no ejected cartridges goes on to. In fact, there were 3 confirmed.
Because Miss Popular was 3.
Even Ntabi. So,
really?
Thank you guys for being with us. Please like the video. Joe Munare, I hope you guys remember to like the video. Tozi Silanga. I hope you like the video. Also, thank you for being with us. Thank you for being with us. I know you've done that. You've said it. And Sugar, and thank you for being with us. Remember, Annette, I'm not even going to mention that you like the video because I know you did. To the tools, it will be a crime if you didn't do to the tools. Sibandas Katele, thank you. This I'm not even going to ask. Dipuo, thank you for being with us. Lulama Sarai, thank you for being with us. Please smash that like button. Oh, and command, it's been a while. I remember, thank you for being with us. I hope you remember to smash because you've been gone for far too long. I think you became a morning gang. This is the morning, by the way. Gavin Sim, thank you. Our member, thank you. See who am I missing? Just to appreciate you guys because you take your time. You're here with us.
Dissecting Natila.
Butali. Thank you for being with us, and we dissect. Unfortunately, today I couldn't allow you guys to call, but I hope tomorrow I'll be rested. Kim Pat, thank you for being with us. Smash that like button and become a member, guys, if you can. Support Nengu, thank you for being with us. Some of the names, guys. I like to read them, but I need to practice them first. Otherwise, I'm gonna butcher them. Takes a while. Tini Lovu, thank you for being with us. Appreciate you. and those who gave Brown Skin, thank you. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
And again and again.
To everyone who gave.
Sizwe, thank you for doing that. Sizwe,
Thank you.
I cannot thank you enough. You are always here. You are always liking. You are doing everything. Siamsia, Princess Zuma, Mshuluz, thank you for being with us. Lungis Jonas, thank you for being with us. Let me see if we have new people and it's a good night, guys, for those who are here. Cecilia, thank you, Cecilia. T Mudao, thank you. And I think Lungis Jonas, you were mentioned. Sibanda, you were mentioned. Joe, you were mentioned. Zamo Shangu, our member. Thank you for being with us.
Hi, member Zamo.
Hey, you don't normally call the name, right? Thank you for being with us. Thank you, and thank you for being a member. Let me see who I'm missing, so I don't miss anyone. Refilwe Simango. Thank you for being with us. We appreciate you. Smash that like button. Watch the ads, guys. Do anything that you can do to support this channel. We appreciate you. It's a bye.
The lines will be open tomorrow.
Definitely.
We apologize for the inconvenience.
Martin, thank you. Molilo, thank you. Nda. Moli. How do you say it? There's a way they say else. Molilo.
Nda.
No, Molilo. Nda. Molilo. And Dima Cheloni. Thank you for being with us. I'm hoping this is not difficult to read, you know. Thank you, guys. We appreciate you. We appreciate you. It's a bye from us.
Thank you so much, guys. Until next time. Bye.
Sidi, and I'm happy.
Sidi, and I'm happy.
The last one. No, there's Patrick. Team Cool. Makulu Baloy and his teams are pulling the straws, and now the defense team is on their case. Yeah, it has to that said. Lisela Aubrey. Sharp guys. Sharp Aubrey. CN Porker. Sharp shoes. Hey, you always have a timing. Tembi some fair. Thank you. Thank you for being with us. Thank you, guys. Bye.